Good afternoon and happy Wednesday. Welcome to Over It. I'm Joe Carducci. I apologize in advance, friends. I'm just going to say this up front. I had a very late night at a Yankees game with my son for his 16th birthday. So my brain's sort of meat, but that's fine. We're going to move on. I am excited to be, as usual, joined by the beautiful, amazing, talented, brilliant Tara Setmayer, co-founder of the Seneca Project, her co-founder of the Seneca Project, Michelle Kinney, and Julie Roginski, the author of Salty Politics on Substack. And today, friends, we have a wonderful special treat. We're going to be joined by Amy McGrath. In case you did not know this, Amy McGrath is throwing her hat back in the ring for Mitch the Evil Turtle McConnell's Senate seat. Mitch. She's doing this again. I think we'll ask her maybe about this. The original race was one of the most, if not the most expensive Senate campaign race, and I think in American history, and they've just gotten more expensive since. But we're going to run her campaign ad right now, and then we're going to welcome Amy to the show.
This isn't just a chair. It's an open seat. And this video, no slogans, no gimmicks, no BS. What we're seeing in this country from this president, not normal. Dangerous for Kentuckians and for all Americans. You might know me. I'm Amy McGrath. When I joined the Marines, I swore an oath to the Constitution to defend this country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I flew F-18 fighter jets, 89 combat missions. I know what courage looks like. Right now, way too many politicians don't. And Americans are being thrown under the bus by cowards in Washington without the moral backbone to serve our nation with honor. You deserve a senator who acts with decency and patriotism, who believes in the goodness and the promise of America. This open Kentucky seat will decide the balance of power in the Senate. The stakes are high. We all need to step up and act with courage to meet this moment.
Great ad. Great ad. And let's welcome Amy McGrath to the conversation. Here we go.
Hey, Amy.
Hey, great to be with you all.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. That ad, by the way, gave me chills.
Yeah.
It was really impactful. But let me just open my first question, Amy. Why are you doing this again?
Because I love my country. And I think, like a lot of Americans and a lot of Kentuckians, we're fed up and we're ticked off. And I'm somebody that has always stood up and taken on tough missions. And I look at my state of Kentucky, which I love, and this is an opportunity with this open seat for the people of Kentucky to actually have a voice. You know, with what is going on right now, a lot of it hurts everyday people here. And it's not what they voted for, even if they voted for this president. And so I think we have a real opportunity here in this open Kentucky Senate seat. And so that's why I'm jumping in the ring again. It's because I love this country and I love my state.
I mean, thank you for that. Thank you for this. Thank you for that selflessness. And thank you for your love of your state and of your country and this meeting this moment by putting this country first. And we are in very dire times. I know we don't have a ton of time with you today, so we're all going to kind of go in turn. So I'm going to throw the next question to Tara. And so Tara, take it away.
Thanks so much, Joe. Amy, we're thrilled not only to have you on air with us, but just that someone like you who is the embodiment of what it is to be the best of us and to serve your country with honor, and to have you back in the race to run. These are the kinds of candidates we need to help get this country back on track. So we are fully behind you and thrilled to support you. I know for you, as someone who served so honorably in the military, that what's going on right now, what you're seeing, how our military is being politicized, particularly what happened last week in Quantico, and what Pete Hegseth is doing, I would love to hear your thoughts as someone who served in combat about the direction in which this administration is taking our military, in particular with women in combat.
Well, how much time do we have?
That's up to you, sister.
Yeah. So, and I'll try to be very measured here because I'm a candidate again. This is really important. But I feel like, first of all, what this president has done to politicize the military is unconscionable. It's something I never thought I would see in my lifetime. To get up in front of troops, enlisted and officer troops, and badmouth the other side, call Democrats the enemy. I just never thought I would see that. And then you add on what is happening, using active duty Marines on the streets of Los Angeles, taking the National Guard and deploying them into cities without the consent of the governors or the elected officials. That's the people, the elected officials, that is just something that I never thought I would see. And it puts the military in a really, really hard place. And I think that is reckless and wrong. The speech that you saw last week at Quantico was bonkers. And I think that the generals and admirals, 700 or 100 of the 800 of them probably left there thinking, wow, we have no coherent foreign policy. We have no coherent defense policy. Our Secretary of War is more interested in changing the name of the department than he is caring about China and Russia and North Korea and the threats that we have today, which are real. The new technologies like drone warfare, which is just changing the nature of war every single day, and AI. We're focused on hair standards and pull-ups. That's Pete Hegseth.
That he doesn't do very well.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, but that's the concern, right? Because the members of the military, look, we're serious people. We care about this country. Our job is to protect the country. And when you have such an unserious leader in Pete Hegseth, it's very scary. And then in terms of women in combat, look, all I'll just say is this man has lied about women in the military. He has a thing against women in the military. Combat standards have never been lowered for women. When the jets, military jets were opened up to women, it's not like they just said, oh, you now have to land on the aircraft carrier only 3 times, whereas the men have to land on at night 10 times. I mean, come on. It's not like when we had to, swim a mile in full flight gear. They said, oh, well, you women, you only have to swim a half a mile. I mean, it's bullshit. Okay. And that is, to me, really offensive. And I think, because women in the military and anyone in the military can't really stand up and say that, or they'll get fired right now. It's really important for those of us who are outside to speak truth to power.
Before I toss it to Michelle, I just want you to, if you were a senator right now, just really quick, what would be your message to those troops and to those officers who are faced with these tough decisions right now? What would be your message to them?
Well, I would say I have enormous faith and in the leadership of our military. They are professional. Our troops are the best in the world. And I believe they're going to remain professional. I would say if I was in the Congress right now, I would say, hey, you're going to have members in the Congress that are going to have your back, that are going to make sure that this president doesn't give you any illegal orders. All right. And is going to do immediate investigations, immediate pushback when there are gray areas. I'll give you an example. These strikes, these kinetic strikes off in the high seas off the coast of Venezuela. There's a lot of questions I have about that, Tara. A lot of questions. I'm getting reports that the chain of command was bypassed on some of those orders. We don't know who those people were. They haven't sent out any evidence of who they were. They just want us to believe the intelligence. Now the Pentagon is closing communications to reporters and basically saying you're only going to be able to report what the party line is. Imagine if we had done that in Vietnam. Imagine if we had done that in the pullout in Afghanistan. We would only just believe what the Pentagon tells us to believe. That's not America. And here's the thing. The American people believe in the troops, but they don't, we have a healthy, we don't always trust the government, okay, to do the right thing. And so that press, that Pentagon press is really important because it's our sons and daughters. We have a right to know where they are being used in the use of force around the world.
Michelle?
Oh, well, Amy, I know that there's so many issues plaguing not just the country, but the people of Kentucky. And I know how important that is to you. And to talk about the greater issue of the tariffs and how they are affecting the country, the farmers, Kentucky specifically, like what's going on in Kentucky and how can you speak to that for us?
Sure. The tariffs are crushing. They crush our bourbon industry. I mean,
right.
You ever been to Kentucky? We're
Right.
bourbon.
Right.
Okay? And that a lot of that is dependent on foreign exports. In fact, Kentucky has one of the highest of all the states. We have the second highest per capita foreign exports. So that means we're very dependent on international trade here. And that means the tariffs really hurt us. The farmers, the soybean farmers, and all the farmers that rely on exports for their income. That's crushing for us. And on top of the fact that it hits us in the wallet, there are studies out there that show that these tariffs are going to be anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 per year for Kentucky families. You know what that is? For many families, that's the birthday party for their kid. That's the scooter that their 11-year-old really wants. You know what I mean? And and they're just taxes on us. That's what we have to sort of talk about over and over again is because a lot of people don't understand what tariffs are. They're simply taxes on us. And they don't do anything. No economist said that this was something to do, that this was good. Nobody voted for this. It's a policy that nobody wanted. And so I think that is the number one issue right now, because a lot of people voted for these Republicans to get into office to make life better. They believed it. They were like, hey, the prices are really high. These guys are saying, we can bring down prices and bring down inflation. Well, what happened, folks? Not only did they not make it better, they made it worse. They made it worse with these tariffs, and people feel that. So yeah, that's a big part of what I'm going to be talking about next year.
I want to piggyback on what Michelle asked about with tariffs, because you have Canada that effectively has now shut down your entire bourbon import, and it's really hit Kentucky. Fair, not fair for Canada to do after what Trump did? What do you think?
I mean, it's a good question. I think the problem with tariffs is we hit friend and foe alike, and there's no reason for it. Why are we enacting tariffs on Europe, our partners? Why are we enacting tariffs on Canada and Mexico? Mexico is our number one trading partner. It doesn't make any sense. And that's what tariffs do. So whether it's fair or not, if you're going to slap, 50% tariff on a country, do you expect them to not do it to us? I mean, come on. This is real life here. So, I mean, I think that the whole thing about tariffs, and the other thing was these guys that enacted the president and all of these Republicans in office who really just don't care about their constituents. They just care about pleasing one man, which is why they're going along with this. They know that these tariffs hurt Kentucky. They know it. And they're too cowardly to stand up for everyday people. And I just feel like, the whole thing is stupid. They said that they were going to, these tariffs are going to bring back manufacturing jobs. We're losing manufacturing jobs. They said it was going to fix our national debt and deficit. They just passed a bill that added $3 trillion, trillion with a T, okay, to our debt and deficit. I mean, it's insane. I don't.
Fiscal responsibility.
Well, we know you have to jet because you've got other stuff you got to do, including being on Joe's podcast in just a few minutes. But I do want to thank you so much for coming on with us and talking to us about your vision for Kentucky, specifically outlining exactly what this administration has done to the people of Kentucky. I don't think people realize that when they vote for people like Mitch McConnell, they vote for people like Rand Paul and whoever Mitch McConnell's successor is going to be. It's not a matter of partisanship. I think it's a matter of understanding that these are people who are harming you, the people of Kentucky. So thank you so much for giving voice to that. And thank you so much for speaking on behalf of your comrades in the military who I think are being asked to do things that are just gut-wrenching for so many of them. So thank you for joining us.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. We're going to do our very best here.
Real quick, Amy, where can people go to support you?
amymcgrath.com. People can sign up. I think it's really important. Look, we have to compete everywhere, and we have an open seat. We have a Democratic governor. This is a midterm, and it's really important. So if people can help, that's great. But you do what you do, and everything. I appreciate what you ladies do every day. It's so important.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks,
Amy.
we appreciate you.
Please come back. Please come back.
You bet.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Hi. She's great.
She's great.
And she gets it, and she's run before, and she is right. Kentucky has elected Democrats, including a Democratic governor right now. So there's no reason on earth why in a midterm election where Kentucky is being screwed more than other states between soybeans and bourbon. They're really in a bad place. You're welcome, Mitch McConnell.
And these ACA subsidies and Medicaid cuts and like add to the list, right?
Yes.
That they're getting screwed every which way.
If there was ever a time for a red state like Kentucky to do this, like to elect a Democratic senator now, it's now. Being the all of the pieces are there. Because if all you have to do is say, is your life better?
Right.
It's not. It's go back to the Reagan
ago?
argument. Are you better off than you were? That's right. 4 years ago. And the answer is not even 4 years ago. It's 2 years ago.
Yeah. It's
But,
two.
You just hit people where it hurts them the most every single day. And that's with their livelihoods, their health, their farms, that is all of that has been upset and overturned by what Trump has done. He did this and he didn't have to. It was completely unnecessary. This wasn't COVID. That was something that wasn't our fault.
Right.
This is Donald Trump's squarely on him. It's his fault. He chose this path and and Republicans. So
this wasn't an act of God. It was an act of Trump.
No. Well, some would think he depends on who you ask.
Depending on who you ask.
And it's interesting because as much as Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul both bitched and complained about these tariffs, and they haven't shut down the Senate to stop them. I mean, he easily could just say, we are joining Democrats, and especially McConnell. He's really got nothing to lose at this point. We are joining Democrats, not because we agree with them on policy, but because we care about Kentucky, and we are not going to move one more piece of legislation on anything. But at the end of the day, all Mitch McConnell cares about is stacking the federal bench and getting judges on the bench who will outlive him so that they can pursue radical extremist policies. So it's totally full of shit.
And they don't even want to open the government. I mean, they could open the government the same way, right? They could do the same thing, but they're not doing that. So they're hiding behind a closed government and trying to lay it at the feet of the Democrats, which no one is that stupid. But like to this point about what people are feeling on the ground in terms of how much things cost and how much things are going to cost. I've heard like people here who I know supported Donald Trump, who I know voted for Donald Trump, saying things like, he promised to make things less expensive. Funny how that's not working out. Like there are rumblings of this because you can't gaslight people into thinking that their chicken that costs $5 more than 1 week than it did the last is not costing $5 more. And when we see these subsidies, these ACA tax credits bumping up people's premiums by 300%, like these costs are going to break people and or they are not going to seek care. And then what's going to happen is they're going to go to the hospital with these illnesses and whatever, and it's going to cost everybody more. And like, this is the part that people really do understand. I firmly believe it.
So what's interesting here is that more Republicans behind closed doors are starting to say to the White House, like, this shutdown and all this stuff that's going on, yeah, it's going to hurt our states. You have this math. That's the reason why we haven't seen the mass firings yet of the federal workers, right? Trump angling that, and that landed like a lead balloon with other Republicans because people in these states, the elected officials understand how many thousands of federal workers actually live and work in their states. Because when we first went through this with Doge earlier in the year, I made the point that over 85% of federal workers live and work outside of DC. Okay. People think, oh, you're sticking it to DC. No, you're sticking it to your local farm bureau, to your local health center, to your that's funded by government resources, to your local whatever that the federal government comes in and supports. That's who you're screwing. And then I actually got into an argument with Julie and I's favorite CNN person, Scott Jennings, about this.
God.
Want to be senator from Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right. Who will never be senator from Kentucky.
That's what we should call him. Never be Senator Scott Jennings.
Never be Senator Scott Jennings. About the cascading of effects that these federal government cuts have, and that when the agencies are closed, how that impacts everyone, including your local diner waitress whose restaurant is no longer open now because all of the federal workers or the subcontractors who are funded by federal contracts are gone because that money is cut. And he's like, oh, now we're diner waitresses. Like he was being a smug asshole about that. And I said, remember that? And I was like, you know exactly what I didn't know. Yeah, I'm like, you know exactly what I'm talking about, Scott. Okay, because Republicans used to make those arguments on the other side. So like that's why I was like, stop it. Stop being such a smug prick. But anyway, but all of that matters. I mean, Jim Jordan, for God's sakes, was on CNN last night talking about how there's 50,000 federal workers in I don't know if it was his district or the state of Ohio. It might be the whole state, but he was talking about the federal bases, the military bases and all of those things. And he was saying, yeah, this impacts them. So when you've got Jim Jordan going on Caitlin Collins' show in prime time, sending out kind of the signal to the White House, like, yeah, this is kind of going to hurt us. He didn't say it, but he said it. You know that they know. So it's a wide open lane here for Democrats who are running into what would be considered traditionally red areas to take these issues and just point out who is to blame and how they will fix it.
But
that's it.
But that brings me to my over it, because I believe, and I think we all agree here, that the only purpose of these people is not to help their constituents. It's not to improve the United States standing in the world. It's not to improve the economy. It's not to do any of the things that you think you might have elected them to do. It's not to lower the price of eggs, as Joe just pointed out. It is entirely for power. And I just want to explain why that is and what we have become. And this is incredibly depressing, so I apologize in advance, but this is what we are today in the United States of America. I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to read to you the lead from the Religion News Service, which published an article this week about what happened last month. Last month, the Reverend David Black stood in front of a Chicago area U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility and spread his arms wide. Adorned in all black and wearing a clerical collar, the pastor looked up at a group of masked, heavily armed ICE agents on the roof and began to pray. I invited them to repentance, Black, a minister in the Presbyterian Church, said in an interview. I basically offered an altar call. I invited them to come and receive that salvation and be part of the kingdom that is coming. But when Black began to lower his arms a few seconds later, the agents responded to his spiritual plea by firing pepper balls, or chemical agents that cause eye irritation and respiratory distress, video footage shows. One struck Black in the head, exploding into a puff of white pepper smoke and forcing him to his knees. Fellow demonstrators rushed to his aid, and as the pastor rubbed his face in pain, the agents continued to fire. We can hear them laughing, Black said. My friends, this is who we are now.
I have the video.
You should show it.
Play
You
it.
should show it.
Yep.
It's
upsetting.
Yep.
to be clear, those are not going to be pepper bullets for very long.
Yeah.
That's the next level of escalation, Joe, that we are all fearing. The Kent State, the unleashing them to fire live rounds. God forbid, because I think that's what everyone fears and what we're trying to avoid. And that video is now, that happened actually like a full month ago, but it's resurfacing now.
Mhm.
And I'm glad it is, because it's at this Broadview ICE detention center outside of Chicago, where there's been these ongoing peaceful protests where people have been, to Julie's point, praying and and without major incident. And it's the ICE agents who are escalating this. They are escalating this use of force. Now, as someone who has been involved in use of force cases and has worked on this as a Hill staffer from the time I was an intern in 1995 on the Senate side, there are so many violations of the use of force continuum here that I don't understand why there aren't more honorable law enforcement experts who are not in uniform anymore, that won't get retaliated against if they speak, but who are retired, that can come out and speak with authority about this, why they're not talking about this more. The use of force continuum is basically it's like a pyramid of what levels of you go, what step before you get to like deadly force. And what is happening that's precipitating the use of force here on this continuum isn't warranted. Like this is so far out of the proper use of this that it is borderline illegal in a lot of these instances. And I hope that these people sue the shit out of ICE for doing this. They are violating rights every day. And by the way, that guy is okay. He's okay. Because I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, did he like die of a brain hemorrhage? But he's okay. But still awful.
Yeah. And this photograph was captured in the last couple of days as well, of a federal agent pointing a loaded weapon at a civilian.
And of course, last week, as we know, they descended Black Hawk helicopters in apartment building in Chicago, broke down people's doors, pulled them naked out of their beds, zip tied their children, threw them on the ground, demanded to see their papers. And eyewitnesses said one of the law enforcement agents, one of the federal agents, law enforcement in quotations there, looked at the kids who were zip tied, laughed, and said, "Fuck them kids."
Yes.
And I'm going to say this. There's a question on the table here. How long before we become a full-blown authoritarian nation? My friends, we're here. We're here. Because when you have people praying, and don't forget, these are, this is the administration that got evangelical support. These are the people who claim to be representing the religious right. Yeah. When you have a Presbyterian minister or any kind of minister praying for your salvation, and you respond to that by firing chemical at his face, hitting him in the head, so with such brutal force that he falls to his knees, we're here. And it's only a matter of time till they start the gulags and they start to imprison people for thought crimes, because if they're doing this to people who are praying, they're coming for everybody else very soon. So we're here.
Well, don't forget too. Yeah. To your point, Julie, to the thought crimes, right? We've seen in the 2 executive orders that Donald Trump signed last week related to Antifa and anti-American speech. That's
anti-Christian.
Anti-Christian, anti-American, anti-Christian, and anti-American speech. Right. We haven't seen that fully enforced yet, but what we have seen related to, I don't know why I do this Jeffries thing with my fingers lately. It's really weird. I don't know what happened. I interviewed
one interview with Jeffries, and all of a sudden
he's coming on later today. Again, I hope I don't do this when I'm talking to him later, but he is. But what we are seeing is the gaslighting. Stephen Miller. If y'all didn't see it, he was on CNN the other day, 2 days ago, Tara.
I sent it in the chat.
It was unhinged. By the way, we just need to sidebar on his laugh, because that shit makes Tucker Carlson's laugh look normal. But he was talking about, because you take all these pieces, Julie, everything you set the table for, Donald Trump's executive orders, anti-American, anti-Christian speech, and them saying that what we are saying about ICE agents, how we are protesting ICE agents and filming ICE agents and demanding accountability for ICE agents who are masked and not wearing any identifiable badges, etc., who just pummeling people and shooting pastors. They're saying that what we're saying about them doing these things is anti-American speech. That is Antifa, right? And by the way, Antifa crossed this ocean to fight a war on the other side to defeat fascists. So if call me Antifa then. But yeah,
Captain America was Antifa.
Well,
yeah.
Like,
Superman.
you're calling this guy Antifa.
If you read that directive, and it's worse than an executive order. It was a national security directive, which has a lot more weight.
Yeah.
If you read it, yes, if you're anti-Christian, whatever that means. I mean, this guy's a Presbyterian pastor, and apparently he's anti-Christian, right?
Right.
It is anti whatever they consider to be anti-American, but more relevantly, it is if you stand against traditional moral values. Now, this is coming from thrice married, serial cheater, adjudicated rapist Donald Trump, who has the nerve to talk about traditional American values. But the way they define traditional American values is: are you gay?
Yeah.
Are you a single mom?
Mm-hmm.
Are you transgender?
Yep.
Are you atheist or anything that's not Christian? That's you.
Yep.
Anything apparently if you're not like Charlie Kirk Christian, because those people that were just shot, those pastors and people who are protesting peacefully, praying for people, they're apparently not the right Christians.
Yeah.
So you even have a divide within the Christian.
There's a purity here, right?
Yes.
And I mean, I know that Handmaid's Tale was at face value fiction, but it was all based on things that have happened in the world. And there is a purity test with religious extremists, whether it be Christians or, jihads. I think I compare them to the American Taliban. It is a level of extremism and oppression of all the things that we just mentioned. Are you gay? Are you a woman that had a child out of wedlock? Are you a single mom? Are you a woman at all? Are you allowed to speak out? What are you allowed to say? I mean, it is the same kind of thought and speech police and religious policing that happens in other parts of the country that we all seem to have a problem with and have fought wars about. But at home, when it's white people and they're praying to Jesus, apparently it all logic goes out the window.
And let me just add one more thing, we can move on. Today, in a Truth Social post, Donald Trump said, and these posts are not just musings, they're orders to Pam Bondi and whoever else he wants to send orders to. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also.
Cool.
So now we're talking about jailing the duly elected mayor of the third largest city in the country and the governor of Illinois.
A convicted felon, no less.
Yeah.
Should be jailed.
And what I think is terribly frightening here is that is going to happen. And why are they being jailed? Because they're protesting peacefully against the invasion of their city by a bunch of Southern National Guardsmen from Texas.
Fuck Greg Abbott.
And the Civil War is back, right? But this time our government is approving the South and meeting the North here.
Yep.
And you have National Guardsmen from Texas arrayed outside of the city of Chicago, waiting to go in. If a judge rules tomorrow against them, he will invoke the Insurrection Act. Now,
he's already said that he would the other day.
Yeah, for everybody who thought Kamala Harris and Joe Biden were exaggerating, for everybody that said, "Oh no, this is just Democratic fear mongering," they told you what they were. Nothing about Trump is a surprise, and this is why I keep saying, go read Stephen Miller's X feed. You will know what's going to happen before it happens. Stephen Miller has not been talking about the government shutdown much. He hasn't been talking about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. He hasn't been talking about all the other things that are on the front page of the New York Times. He's been almost exclusively, talking about this. That's how you know what's going to happen.
Well, we know why. That's because he's the architect of American carnage. This started from the very first Trump inauguration speech where we were all horrified, and they've been waiting for years to execute this. Stephen Miller's little shriveled peen gets all excited about the plenary authority, which he slipped up and said the other day on CNN in that rant.
Well,
that Trump has plenary authority under the 10th Amendment. Then all of a sudden there was a technical difficulty, but no, there wasn't. He knew exactly what he said.
That's actually my over it. And so I'll
Oh,
show
I
that.
didn't realize. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
no,
Michelle.
perfectly timed, because I'll just show the clip right now.
Legal insurrection. Does the administration still plan to abide by that ruling?
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen?
Oops.
Stephen? Hey, Stephen, can you hear me?
We can see his eyes moving.
It seemed, Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical.
No, there's no
Really?
technical difficulty.
No.
There's no difficult. And so I have this here because when I first heard it, I was like, is he crashing out? Like, what's going on? I
heard it live
I
too.
thought he had misspoken and it was trying to say plenty of authority, but I didn't realize that plenary authority is an actual thing.
Oh yeah, that's
so-
what we talk about when we talk about pardons and things. Plenary authority means like unequivocal,
All of it.
complete, like that there's no question about it. Authority, like pardons in the Constitution.
Right. And so this Time article, now this was published, this story has been published lots of places in the last few days, but this Time article says Stephen Miller sparked suspicion after glitch on CNN when he when he mentioned plenary authority. Now, so we heard the whole thing, what he said about the Ninth Circuit and under Title 10, and then the Boris Sanchez calling out his name. Stephen, I apologize. It seems like we're having a technical issue. This is the brief moment sparked controversy online. Miller's use of the phrase plenary authority, which Cornell University's Legal Information Institute defines as power that is wide-ranging, broadly construed, and often limitless for practical purposes. Some users speculated that there was no malfunction during the interview, which I think we can all see with our own eyes, but rather that Miller
Malfunction is him.
abruptly caught himself and stopped talking. One TikTok user said, Stephen Miller said the quiet part out loud and accidentally, and then appeared to glitch all of the sudden when he recognized how much of his foot he had put into his mouth. The user added, he just came out and the Trump administration is authoritarian. Another TikTok user posted a video with more than 100,000 likes saying, quote, Stephen Miller absolutely did not have a glitch on live TV. He had an oh shit moment where he said something that he effing was not supposed to say. On X, one user posted Stephen Miller didn't glitch. He said plenary authority, and whomever was in his ear told him to shut the F up because he said too much and he froze like a deer in headlights.
I don't think anybody's in his ear.
I was gonna say nobody was in his ear, but
I think
no, he caught him. Oh, no doubt, he caught himself, and he realized that he's on CNN. He's not on some like OAN or Newsmax, and was like, oh shit, because he says that kind of stuff over there to the right wingers. Because they're all like, yay, and most of them don't know the Constitution.
Yeah, he forgot where he was.
Correct, but then that part of the interview was like the calmest part. When he came back, he was a raving madman lunatic, which is what happens.
Emotionally unstable.
Probably to distract.
Of
Hopefully that the sound bites would be this psycho. Who, by the way, I just wanted to share this real fast, Tara. I wrote this is he is not born. Stephen Miller was not born. He was from a fetid pool of factory runoff behind a meatpacking plant. Something climbed out, it slithered through the steam, kicked a puppy, flipped off the nun, told 3 small children they were adopted, stole a gas station burrito, stared into a Waffle House bathroom mirror and croaked, I will run the country. That's what I wrote about this motherfucker, okay? But
I was like,
right.
You did write this, right? I was like, okay, this sounds
that's a Joeism right there.
My second last Substack, Count Clorox and the Beige Crusade, because God, every single one of them is giving, would you fuck me? I would fuck me. I'm sorry, but the lotion in the basket is his middle name.
Oh God. Well, Joe, wait a minute. According to Jesse Waters, he's a stud muffin that AOC wants to have sexual fantasies with. What is with Jesse Waters and his obsession with Stephen Miller and his sexual prowess?
Oh, I can answer. I can answer that because Jesse Waters, who parentheses used to donate to Barack Obama, is really what you see is what you get on TV. Like there's nothing more to him. He really is that way. Like I've hung out with Jesse Waters, obviously, when I worked there, and I can tell you there's not much there.
Well, he was the
Jesse-
man on the street guy that O'Reilly
Jesse
used
Waters.
to go talk to spring break girls.
Jesse Waters stepped in shit. He was a producer for O'Reilly, and all of a sudden he's making tens of millions of dollars. And he understands that he has to go ever more extreme to do that. He's not going to make the mistake that Tucker Carlson did.
Yeah.
He's not going to create his own power structure, which got him fired from Fox, that got O'Reilly fired from Fox. He's going to do whatever the base wants so that if they try to come at him, the base is going to say, oh, no, not Jesse, because Jesse's not smart enough to actually, pull a coup the way Tucker tried to. And, this is the same Jesse Waters who said that he slashed his now wife, then assistants tires in order to get her to get a ride from him or something.
Yeah.
While
And
he
he also
Why are
said
these people psychotic and also kind of gay for each other? Like it's all
it's so
very
weird.
strange and homoerotic. He has on multiple occasions, in addition to saying AOC just wants to sleep with him, has called him a sexual matador, including when Katie Miller was sitting at his desk saying it as well. And I was like, let me just tell you what.
How does he know? Because I hang out with you guys. I hang out with you guys a lot.
Right.
I gotta tell you, it would never occur to me to refer to any of you as sexual matadors because I actually have no fucking clue.
I am a sexual matador, Julia.
I'm
offended by
now
that.
I know, Joe, but it would never now I refer to you as that every day.
Tinder profile ASAP because I am no longer apparently a sexual matador.
Oh my God. Well, what's the
hire my
equivalent
red
of that?
cape?
I mean, I have friends who I've been friends with since the 8th grade, and I have no idea whether they're sexual matadors because we don't talk about that kind of stuff.
I mean, what are we, The View?
What the fuck is this guy talking about that he could refer to somebody he barely knows and he doesn't hang out with as a sexual matador? And I can guarantee you Stephen Miller does not hang out with Jesse Waters because Jesse Waters is not Stephen Miller's cup of tea.
No, Jesse Waters reminds me of some guy from Long Island who's like, and I'm just like, take it easy, eyebrows. And calm yourself. Take several seats.
Jesse Waters is who Suzanne Scott, the head of Fox. And here I got to be careful because I'm not allowed to really criticize Suzanne per my NDA, but she's exactly what she wants. He's Gutfeld, Waters. They're all Peg Seth back when he was there. These sort of quasi good looking, and I use that term loosely. Young guys, and I don't know if Suzanne. I'll leave it at that. So
like the frat bro.
Fratty, but they're also fucking doofy. Like that's the thing. That's doofy. Like Gutfield, it's like Gutfeld, whatever. Yeah,
he's
Doocy.
gross, and it's like these are the guys that you want to use as examples of toxic masculinity here. Like these are the guys that are supposed to be your definition of what manly men are. I'm sorry, Gutfeld's like 3'5". He looks like a troll under a bridge. Yeah, and you know what I mean? Like he should be under a bridge and dance in a jig. And then you've got, Jesse. Yeah, he is. And it's like Jesse, well, at least leprechauns are cute and at least you have gold at the end.
The leprechaun. I'm a leprechaun. That leprechaun.
He's a mean, nasty leprechaun. But
you're an angry elf.
You're an angry elf. Exactly. And then Jesse Waters is like the loser guy that couldn't get into the fraternities. And so he decided to do things to get attention and be like, pick me. And then he got picked. And now that's where he is. And so they're just, these are the people. I'm sorry, but no.
They're all the guys who don't get the quirky girl in every John Hughes movie ever made.
Yes.
They're all that guy. And this is their arc. This is where they ended up. They're like James Spader of
and very upset.
Not even because James Spader was popular in that movie. These guys were not the popular boys in school.
Great Gen X reference, Joe. I love it for all the Gen Xers out there.
Weird Science because they're them, like those guys.
Yes,
yes. Where they no, they're not James Spader, right? Because he was popular and he was cool. But the losers in Weird Science, someone put it in that, not Chet. Yeah. I'm not talking about Chet.
Well. That kind of brings me to my over it because you want to talk about cosplaying losers. Kristi Noem is out here again, okay, with the border bitch Barbie cosplaying as law enforcement. I didn't have a chance to give it to Michelle to load.
I have it. I have the clip.
No, not. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, sorry.
The picture of her that in her workout gear that I posted on my Twitter, and I was just like, caption this. First of all, she's like anorexic now. Lay off all of that, honey, because it's gross. But she's like ridiculous in her cosplay as this DHS. I'm the DHS secretary, you know, the freaking puppy killer here. She keeps going out on these raids, and Benny Johnson, that's his name. Is that his name?
Yeah.
The right-wing guy who, again, is, you want to talk about questionable.
Who got paid by Russia? He claims he didn't know he was getting paid $100,000.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and didn't they also have some kind of like scandal about him a couple weeks ago?
Oh,
that he was
yes.
potentially having a gay lover. I don't know.
Well,
People are saying, as Trump would say, I don't know. But anyway,
And Michael Knowles, by the way. But
yeah,
well,
it's
all that
the whole thing. And I
overcomplicated.
think it's anyway, that's a whole nother thing you guys can Google on your own about these people. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But he's been going out now with her, with, again, another one of these right-wing influencer troll guys with huge followings, with a camera, filming all of these raids and these things and what she's doing, and like laughing about it. And it's gross. All of it is just gross. But more recently in Portland, she is now questioning. There it is.
Oh my
There
God.
it is. What the fuck is that?
Sandwich. Please
What
eat a
are
sandwich.
Julie's dad?
There is a limit to the Ozempic. Like,
I mean,
I don't even know if it's Ozempic.
I
I don't
don't
think
even
it's
know.
that. I think it's just
Well,
look at
her
her
soul
arm.
is eating her
Look at
body.
her-
look at her inner thigh.
Well, plus she's getting a lot of road. You know what I'm talking about, because her
Corey
consultant.
Lewandowski.
Yeah, she's got her
Oh,
side.
Corey
prick.
Lewandowski, her friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Sorry.
think that's a result of any kind of sexual matador action, to be honest. So
she
that is
looks
just
like she's like a poor man's version of American Gladiator, or
yes,
she looks like
on
a frog,
crack.
like before you dissected it in biology sophomore year. She's
oh,
like,
She needs to go see Stephen Levine, my friends. That is some bad work. that she's done.
oh yes, your friend.
it's all bad. Okay, all of it. And
Yeah.
the fact that someone took that and she posed for it and somebody posted it is like as if that was a good thing. They hate her. But
Yeah.
she is now questioning detainees, people who have been rounded up and thrown in the back of the trucks by ICE. She's now going in and asking them questions. I'm sorry, she's not a lawyer. Last time I checked, right? Doesn't she have a liberal arts degree? Coincidentally,
Who knows?
Ironically, last time I checked, these people should have lawyers and are under no obligation to answer any questions. Why is she interrogating people now on camera? It's all political kabuki.
It's
theater.
all happening on TV.
It's all performative.
for more violation of rights that, even whether you're here legally or not, are afforded to you under our fucking constitution. And I wish more people would be reminding them that this is not constitutional. We have a constitution and a criminal justice system for a reason, whether you're here legally or not. Jake Tapper, Tim Miller, Caitlin Collins, all of you people that have large followings and get these interviews with people, let's start reminding them that what they're doing, or ask them to justify where in the Constitution this is legal. Show this video. It's a part of it. It went on for like 5 minutes. I couldn't deal with it anymore.
Hello. I'm Christy. I wanted to ask you a few questions. How long have you been in the United States? You don't know? No English?
¿Cuántos años tienes en los Estados Unidos?
Alrededor de
7 años.
How many times have you come in and gone out of the country illegally?
¿Cuántas veces has entrado a los Estados Unidos y te regresas de México? 5 times.
5 times?
7 years.
You've been here 7 years. When's the last time you went back to Mexico? And is he convicted sex offender here?
Sí. ¿Tienes cargos?
You're in Portland?
¿De qué? Provincia.
What was your crime in this country?
¿Qué fue?
He shouldn't answer any of this.
Yeah, no.
Can I say this?
A minor? Okay. You also know it's a crime to be here illegally, and you will be prosecuted for it, correct?
Shut up.
¿Tienes entendido que van a tener cargos de eso? Sí.
Do you have family here?
No.
Do you have children? No. How old are you?
Hey, what's
Do you
the
have
evidence-
family? Do you have
What's the
family?
evidence that there's actually a guy in that car who's an illegal sex offender?
none, zero.
Right. You see her look back at make sure the cameras were
I
rolling.
mean, for all I know, that's some guy named Jose that they hired
Yeah.
to pretend to be whoever she wants
That's
him
a
to
good
be.
point,
right?
Julie. That's a good
Like-
point.
Who is he?
Yeah.
Why can't we see him?
No.
They're-
Right.
They obviously don't care about his constitutional rights. So
Clearly.
So who is this guy?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, it's all cosplay, right?
Right.
But the
It's all
thing is, it
made for
has deadly
TV.
consequences. Deadly consequences. That they're shooting up, they're bombing boats in Venezuela, like Amy brought up, that we have no accountability for. We don't. It's they're cutting before measuring instead of the other way around. This is what they do. Right? I don't believe one freaking thing that comes out of her mouth. And by the way, last part about her is that she auditioned for this when she put that she shot her own puppy in her book.
Yeah.
And then went on a book tour. She auditioned for exactly this.
Yep.
She auditioned for the role of the person standing in front of men in a cage behind her. She auditioned for the role of a woman standing in that swamp freaking Alcatraz laughing. This is what she wanted. This is what she auditioned for, and this is exactly what she got. And that's what
the
she's
Hunger
delivering on.
Games, guys. It's the
Yep.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yep.
What did I say, Michelle, in the beginning of the year?
I know.
I said
know
it was
you said it.
this was going to be a cross between Celebrity Apprentice and the Hunger Games. I
Mhm.
said this, pull the tape. I said
Yeah.
this back
I
in
know you
January.
did. You did.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's like I can't decide if it's more dumb or evil. And then I'm like, no, it's both. It's both. Because like the Black Hawk things that Julie mentioned earlier, they filmed, that was all for propaganda. They filmed it all. They had a camera crew there. They had lights. They had production for that video of them putting children in U-Hauls, right?
Right. Well, they didn't, but they left that part out.
Yeah.
Well, they left out the zip tied, half naked kids and, hauling them off. They left that out. They left the chainsaws of the doors and the strewn documents and furniture about in ruining people's apartments. They left that part out. But they damn sure made sure you saw them rappelling from fucking helicopters and guns drawn and dragging out, young Hispanic men and handcuffing them. That's the part they wanted to show, and the dramatic lighting and the darkness and all of that to intimidate. But they left out the part about the children. But the reason why we know that is because there were eyewitnesses who were willing to talk about it and go on camera, and God bless them. And I believe
that requires right now. And before I go, because I have to get Amy on my show, guys. She's gonna be on Sanish. That'll drop tomorrow. But this spectacle, this idea of spectacle and all for show, it feeds into my over it, which just really quickly, what we've all seen from Quantico to the address that Donald Trump gave and Hegseth gave in front of the Navy cadets the other day. All of that is also spectacle. They're draping themselves in the flag while delivering messages to the United States military that this is really their Gestapo now. This is Donald Trump's. He has plenary authority, right, to have them do whatever that he wants them to do, and stand in front of them and label the Democrats gnats, problems, the enemy. The enemy is from within. The war is here. They're going to be using our cities for our military as training exercises, training grounds, like all of this. But they do the spectacle thing. They summon 800 generals and admirals, and they say to them, if you don't like this, you can leave. But they don't. Right? This is the choice. And then they have this spectacle in front of all of these cadets, who, by the way, a lot of them behaved extremely inappropriately, and it made me
You're
sick.
talking about on Sunday when he was down in Norfolk for the Navy's birthday thing. Yes.
And I don't know, real fast, if Michelle, if you can play this clip, because this is what I'm over. I'm over the press meeting, treating this like it's fucking normal. I'm over him and them using our military's props and setting the table for turning them into his personal police force, his personal Gestapo. So this is the clip about what I don't know if you have it, Michelle. Shit, that's okay. He said, no, it's fine. He did say that. He said that the Democrats were gnats.
Yes.
Which is a problem that we need to get rid of. Gnats. And some of those cadets, is that what they're called in the Navy? They're called cadets, right?
Well, no, they're only cadets if they're in the Naval Academy or in like the academy. I think they're midshipmen. Yeah. They were not, this was like already in the Navy. They are serving active duty. So we're not sure what their rank was, but midshipmen, I think we can start with that.
Yeah, I apologize. Yeah, because that's the one branch.
Sailors. We'll call them sailors.
Sailors, seamen, sea women, sea people.
See people.
I see dead people. Yeah, but that's what I'm over.
Please forgive us, anyone who's in the Navy. None of us are in the military.
Sorry.
We apologize.
I love the military, and I have very little experience with my actual former family member is not my family member anymore through divorce. Actually taught at the Naval Academy, and I've been to Annapolis many times.
So
did Amy. So did Amy.
Yeah, our old neighbor, where in our old house, that their son went to the Naval Academy, and then when they moved first, then we moved, but now they live in Annapolis, and they're both Navy Academy grads, both the husband and wife. Their son went to the Navy. He's now on a submarine somewhere, graduated, and they work at the Naval Academy now.
Oh, wow.
So it's
You
like
know
all
who
we were,
else
and our
doesn't-
other neighbors were West Point people, and so
Oh,
they
there you
are. Oh my God, the Army Navy arguments every year when the Army Navy game
Yeah.
happened were hilarious, but we all got along. It was cool. We were in the middle.
Yeah.
We
I
were
used
like,
to
go
go to-
America.
I used to go to West Point to go to the Army games with my dad. Yeah, and then we'd go to the PX.
Beautiful grounds. Both
Yeah,
Naval
absolutely
Academy
beautiful.
and West Point. Beautiful.
But I am gonna hop so that I can
Yes.
jump over
Do
to
you want
Amy.
to show this?
But I will play this really quick.
Yeah. This is the clip. Thank you.
And I have a bigger. But we have to take care of this little gnat that's on our shoulder called the Democrats. They want to give all of our money to illegal aliens that pour into the country. And, I have a bigger heart than they do. But the problem is when you do that, they come in by the millions. Everybody wants that, so you can't do it.
Little gnat.
Crazy.
Little gnat. I mean,
Crazy.
Everybody
don't
wants that. Everybody wants that, so you can't do it. So here's the little assignment before we go. The assignment for everybody here is to work the refs like you've never worked the refs before when it comes to the media. What he just said, if Joe Biden had said, this would have been World War III in the media. They'd be running wall-to-wall coverage. Contact Jake Tapper on Twitter or wherever else you can find him and ask him repeatedly why he's not writing that book.
Yep.
If Meet the Press, if Kristen Welker is interviewing some MAGA liar and that person is using NBC's airwaves to lie, email her and ask her why she's not cutting off their mics.
Mhm.
Work the refs. Tara, vouch for me. This is what Republicans did for 30 years, and it moved the Overton window over and over and over, so that now the New York Times is no longer referring to Ghislaine Maxwell as a convicted sex pedophile and trafficker in their subheadline. They're referring to her as a former Epstein employee and friend.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
see that.
Accomplice, maybe. Co-conspirator, maybe,
I
if
didn't
you're
see
lucky.
that.
No. In the
Fuck you.
subheadline, Ghislaine Maxwell, former Epstein employee and friend. Okay.
Fuck that
Yeah.
shit.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
how the Overton window moves, because we somehow have been
Oh, cute.
lulled into believing that the media has a liberal bias. It never did. It had a factual bias until it became in their best interest not to, because obviously their little mega mergers won't happen without Trump. Work the refs.
Yep.
Every day, is as sick of it as you are. Email Tapper, email Welker, email Collins, email all of them every day until they understand that they have to move the Overton window back. And trust me, these people all look at their social media feeds. They all look at their emails. They never want to be accused of being biased. The more you accuse them of being biased, the more they'll think twice about being biased.
Exactly.
Yep.
And Joe, I know you have to go.
Bye, Joe.
Bye,
Good
Joe.
luck.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Amy's window just got smaller. So bye.
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 On that note, and I was trying to find the right moment to show this, but it's a video that I've been working on for Seneca Project. That is just about done, but I wanted to show this audience as kind of a BTS
Behind the scenes.
behind the
Oh, I haven't
scenes.
seen it yet. So I'm
Yes.
excited.
You guys, the audience,
It-
you guys get to see kind of how the sausage is made here. And so,
Yeah, it's just about done. But I felt that, we don't get these opportunities to have everybody together all too often. So I thought this was a good opportunity. I do want to warn everyone, it's a tough watch, but it gives putting it all together. This is where we are as a country. And it is up to us, we the people, to fight back and to show up, and to Julie's point, to press the journalists, press everyone, our elected officials, every single day, to remind them that this is the reality that we're living in. So I'm going to go ahead and show this.
This American carnage stops right now.
Donald Trump intends to use the United States military against American citizens who simply disagree with him.
The fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals.
People he calls, quote, the enemy from within.
You don't have the authority to arrest U.S. citizens asking for a conditional warrant.
Oh my God!
And I told Pete we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military.
The president said he's directed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops.
I am also authorizing full force if necessary.
Well, the broader goal, I believe, is the militarization of major American cities before the 2026 elections. They have dressed ICE and CBP in fatigues, put them in military gear, including with automatic weapons, and had them marching up and down major streets in downtown Chicago. It's a signal that they're trying to send that it's okay to have troops on your street, that this would be a welcome thing.
One of them literally laughed. He was standing right here. He said, them kids.
See, Hispanic people not doing nothing bad. I'm not gonna have nothing. It's the first day of school for me.
Some people hate you. What do you say to them? Because
I don't know what I'm gonna eat.
We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
Ordering the Department of Justice to investigate his enemies.
While America is under invasion from within, we're under invasion from within.
In the middle of the night, hundreds of armed federal agents and police, backed up by riot trucks, smoke grenades, and helicopters in an immigration raid on an entire apartment building.
The kids was crying, people were screaming.
They pulled dozens of residents from their homes and zip ties, including children.
I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner because they was bringing the kids out too, had them zip tied to each other.
Some of them without any clothes. They then held some outside for hours and dragged the others into rented vans.
It is a very sad thing for our country. It's poisoning the blood of our country.
Stay in your car! Tell everyone to stay in your houses!
He is now threatening to deport American citizens.
We pledge to you that we will root out radical left thugs that live like vermin.
We're here for you. That ICE agents held their 5-year-old daughter outside their home to get her father to surrender.
Our students were put in handcuffs. Our 10th grader was, our 11th grader was, and their mother.
I know what's going on in our world now, and I understood that we have some students who are vulnerable, but I did not see this as being our reality. It's been traumatic. Our community is shook.
They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done.
This is it. This is it. We're losing this country. We're losing it in real time. This is a chaos presidency. He is a wrecking ball. This is unlike anything we've experienced in our lifetime. It is code red.
Michelle, I'm not saying this to you just because I love you guys. That was the most powerful ad I've seen ever. And I've seen a lot of political ads. This is not even a political ad.
Yeah, it's too long for an ad, but it's a video like our Charlie Kirk video.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's just
people need to see it.
People need to see it. It needs to get out there. Because I think so often, and there are trolls in this chat right now who believe this, so often people think that it's some unnamed horde that's coming here. They've been conditioned to believe that there's a caravan headed for us. They forget these are human beings. When that woman said, I don't want to die in Honduras, she will die in Honduras. They are killing women there.
Yep.
People did not cross a continent in the back of trucks on foot, swim across the Rio Grande, or get coyotes to take them across and risk their lives if they were not in fear of losing their lives where they were. You do not take it from somebody who's a refugee. You do not leave the country that you come from unless the option of staying there is untenable.
Yep.
And
And people, there's a lot of mixed feelings about immigration, about how people come here, but what and whether they should or shouldn't, but this is beyond that. And as someone who has worked on this issue for years, and I was fully entrenched in it, I will say this, and this is probably going to be the subject of my next Substack. I'm just trying to muster up the strength to write it. But as someone who spent years of her life on Capitol Hill advocating for stronger border security and advocating for Border Patrol agents and law enforcement, and one of the proudest moments of my life was my advocacy for wrongfully convicted Border Patrol agents, I am disgusted by how the Border Patrol is behaving and how ICE is behaving and how these federal law enforcement officers are behaving. I am disgusted by it. And it makes me say, what the hell have we become? And what have we advocated for? This is a disgrace to the badge. It's a disgrace to the honorable officers who actually do have humanity and who are the ones who take care of migrants who come here humanely, not these yahoos that are treating them like they're less than human. And what have we become? And we have to show people this is what we are becoming. Are we okay with this as a country? And we should not be. We should not be.
You guys, all I can say, Michelle, I mean, I don't know what to say about that video. It's
reality. It's
reality, but I will
depiction of what's going on.
Shortly before World War II, you had a ship arriving here of Jewish refugees, the St. Louis, that was coming, went to Cuba, got turned away, went here to the United States, and was turned away. And it was turned away for the very same reasons that these people are turned away. There was no room at the inn. And I use those words very deliberately. There was no room at the inn. And these Jews from Germany and other parts of Europe who were fleeing because they saw what was coming got turned away. And the ship was forced to go back home. And most of the people on that ship did not survive. They died in the Holocaust. They were here. They could see land. They could see safety. And they were turned away. We have talked about the St. Louis in schools. We have talked about St. Louis in history.
Not enough.
Documentaries. We have talked about this, and people have said that that is a black mark on the legacy of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. If there's one black mark, people say that was it.
Yes.
And what we are doing right now is we're recreating that every single day. I swear on all that is holy, there are people coming here from Russia who will be sent to the gulag, and their kids will be placed in orphanages if they go back because they protested the war. That's all they did. They will be put into prison for decades. Their children will be raised by strangers or probably in a Russian orphanage where they may die, because that's how bad Russian orphanages are. And yet we are trying to send those people back. We are sending that poor woman back to Honduras, where her children will be sold into sexual slavery. What have we become? I understand we can't admit everybody. I understand that people are upset. But these are real human beings. These are real lives. Mm-hmm. What kind of country are we? What the fuck does the plaque on the Statue of Liberty say about give me your tired, you're poor? And these people had the nerve to put out the Statue of Liberty as it was 120 years ago when it was still copper, not green, before copper turned green, saying, let's bring Lady Liberty back to how it used to be, I guess, when it was still copper and it was new. All of their ancestors came here. They all snuck onto ships.
Mm-hmm.
They all came here to Ellis Island and got in.
But that's the way it needs to be framed. And instead of getting into these petty political arguments, policy arguments over whether illegal immigrants are getting Medicaid subsidies in emergency rooms, okay, fuck that shit. Okay, the Democrats need to stop getting pulled into the policy tit for tats, because that's not that you lose the argument there. The argument needs to be exactly what Julie and I have just said about the humanity of what's happening. You Christians, you people who claim that you're Christians and wear crosses around your necks as a badge of honor to say you're somehow more sanctimonious than the next, are you okay with this? Is this what Jesus would do? Because I don't think so. Call them out on the hypocrisy, the cruelty of this. Challenge their Christianity, because otherwise they're a bunch of heretic hypocrites that are Christian when they want to be, when it suits their needs, but not when we're called to walk in the ways of Jesus and do and what the New Testament says to do with good works and treating your neighbor. I put that next to it. Put that next to their sanctimonious bullshit about Donald Trump being a fucking savior and laying hands on him in the Oval Office. But yet you're okay with ICE agents ripping children from their parents, where women are being ripped from their families in courthouses where they're trying to do the right thing. You're okay with that, with masked gunmen, masked federal agents, Gestapo-like tactics, ripping people apart, pulling people off the streets in America in 2025? You're okay with that, though? No, you shouldn't be. And if you are, then you've got a higher person to have to answer to when that day comes than just our elections. And that's why we have to make these videos. That's why, well, when Michelle puts these videos together like this and we put them out on Seneca, that's part of our mission over at Seneca, to do that as a content and messaging organization. And I know a couple people asked, like, how can you help? How can you help? You can help by, supporting us, because we have to stay afloat. We have to be able to pay for these things. So if you're able to, please support us financially at Seneca. And if you're not, when we do post those videos, spread the word. Just spread the word as far and wide. Our last Charlie Kirk video, thanks to this community, over 2 million views on social media, the Charlie Kirk video. So these things have impact, and nobody else is doing this. Again, leave it to the women. Nobody else is doing this. So that's how you can support us.
And that's why this is so important, that not just at Seneca, but we have this platform at Mayday, because we are in distress. This country is in distress, and we're the bad guys. We're the bad guys. And
they want us to believe that. We're actually the good guys.
We aren't, but
no.
Representatively, like the country right now, what we are standing for and what we are allowing as a country and what we voted for is
not us.
Well, not us, but I'm saying the country at large.
You know what? Let's be very clear here, because let's not sugarcoat this. This is not the Electoral College. The majority of voters in this country voted for this. They voted for this.
Well, they didn't, because the majority stayed home, Julie.
No,
we need to be fair about that. People didn't come out and vote.
Listen, then you don't have the right to complain. But
well, that's true.
The majority of people who voted for this. And what I want to be really clear about here is we cannot sugarcoat who we are, because you don't see marches in the streets every day the way you saw in Ukraine and the way you saw in Iran last year,
or even during Trump's first term.
Like, you don't see it. You have these No Kings rallies that happen once every so often. But the reality is that most people are just okay with this because it's not affecting them. Maybe they're intellectually not okay with this, but they'll watch a video like that and then they'll move on with their day because it's not directly impacting them.
I don't know, though. Maybe not, Julie. I disagree, because I think that the No Kings rallies matter, and that people, when they saw that there were millions of folks that came out that felt the same way they did, it gave them a sense of belonging, and that those in each individual little community didn't have to just be the big rallies. You had, street corner, intersection rallies with a couple hundred people. You had rallies in, old folks' homes areas and like the villages and places where people saw that. So but I think that matters to people, because there are a lot of folks that aren't in the positions that we're in that feel as though they can't do anything. And speaking out in solidarity in large numbers or small groups, I talk about this in my TED Talk. Revolutions aren't always hundreds and thousands of people. It starts off with a couple people that are willing to stand up, and courage is contagious. And that's what we have to do now. Would we like to see hundreds of thousands of people in the streets every weekend like they do in Israel or they did in Iran and all that? Yeah, we'd love to see that, but it's got to start somewhere. So October 18th, you've got No Kings doing it again. We have to build it, because there's a lot that's happened since June to what's happening now that's way worse. And there's people who are scared about this. But that's what the enemy wants. So we can't depress people to the point where they say there's nothing I can do anymore, and they just sit back and then they feel paralyzed in fear. We still do have an opportunity to do something. And we still have an opportunity to do something. I don't want people to feel as though there is not, and that these rallies and these things don't matter, because they do.
No, I'm saying the opposite. They do matter. Just do it every weekend. Don't do it every 4 months. I mean, the reality is,
maybe it'll come to that. It's got to start somewhere.
It's been 10 months, my friends. You got to do it more often. You got to speak up more often, because the less you speak up, the more they're going to shut you down. Already people are afraid to come out because they're worried. And what I'm telling you is, if you come out every single weekend, the way they do in Israel, the way they do in Ukraine, they did in Ukraine back in the day, the way they did when they literally in Iran, my God, Iran.
Yeah, they did it here during George Floyd. We're capable of doing it here.
So what?
It's been done before. We did it in the civil rights. We did it during Vietnam. We did it during George Floyd. We did it during Black Lives Matter. People are capable of doing it. I think the point is that they need to be more willing. That's right.
But they're not. And they
not yet.
They need to be more willing. And the last thing I'll say is that, generation after generation after generation of people in this country have been called upon to stand up for what is right and to risk their lives. The American Revolution, the Civil War, both world wars, the list goes on. We're not being asked to cross any oceans. We're not being asked to pick up muskets or semi-automatic weapons or anything like that. We are being asked to show up and to have our voices heard and to march in the streets of our towns and our cities. We are not being asked for much. And especially if you are a white person and you are a citizen of this country, you have absolutely no excuse to not show up. No excuse. It is your duty as an American to show up and do the right thing. And to Tara's point in her TED Talk, do you want to stand by or do you want to stand up?
Exactly. Amen. I think, Sarah, we're saying the exact same thing. I'm just saying, I think it's time after watching that video. And of course, I think this every day, but if you're not energized after watching the Seneca video, to do this every single day in any way that you can, and to not look away, because you mentioned George Floyd, Tara. There are 100 George Floyds happening every day right now.
Absolutely.
We can
We marched in the middle of a pandemic with no answers and no vaccines or anything. I mean, we put on our masks and marched in the streets. We can do it again. We must do it again. We are running out of time.
Yeah, people need to know why it matters and what happens if you don't. And that's the problem. People don't change unless they pay enough of a price. And of course, for us, we live this every day. We're like, how much more of a price do we need to pay as a country? But they're distracted by so many other things, just surviving, that they're not putting it all together.
Which is baked in there. It's part of the design, of course.
That's exactly right, which is why we all exist doing what we're doing, is to help put it all together for folks. That's why we are willing to put ourselves in the breach and on the front lines and bring others with us to show them the way. So that's why we're here. We're grateful for your support, and stay tuned. There will be more to come, especially King stuff and Seneca and Mayday. So I think that's a good place to end the show, guys.
Yep.
And people in the chat have been asking when that video will go up. I just need a couple more hours here today to make it, extra put together, and I'll put it up by this evening. So make sure you like and subscribe, not only to Mayday, you should please like and subscribe to this channel, but go to Seneca Project as well, which Tara and I are co-founders of, and you will be the first to get a notification when that goes
And
live.
you guys, if you can't donate, repost it.
Yes,
spread it. Again, people need to see it. I'm not involved in Seneca, so I'm telling you this as somebody who has
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
No interest in this other than it is the right thing to do. That is the most powerful video I have seen ever. And I sincerely mean that, Michelle. People need to see it. They must see it. Because I believe if they see it, you'll have a lot more action. People will not be able to look away.
Nope.
And and not to make light of it, but it's reassuring to know that the damage it does to my mental health is somehow worth it.
Well,
it's making a difference. You know what I mean? Because man, this shit's hard. It's hard.
The sacrifices are complicated and vast for all.
Like
of
I'm
us
having
in
a
this
hard
work.
time just even talking about it.
I know it's tough. It's tough. So leadership is tough.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well,
All right,
thank you
on that
so
note.
much. We'll see you tomorrow on the stakes. If you guys are over at Seneca, we'll be on the stakes at 7:30 tomorrow night, and then Saturday for coffee and conversation. So we'll see you then.
And
Like and
Julie's
subscribe,
writing,
like and
Julie's
subscribe.
writing lots of good stuff at Salty Politics too. That pertains to all of this we're talking about. So check it out, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.